What's going on, everybody? My name is Coach Bo. I'm a senior business coach here with Results Driven. And I've actually been with Tiff and Josh going on almost 4 years now. And so I've helped over 450 different business owners get in the weeds with their marketing plans, with their acquisition teams, and really build businesses and ultimately help them achieve success the way they define it. And so really the reason I'm popping on today's call is, this is an interesting time right now in the market, right? Interest rates are really high. Everyone's thinking about or talking about when are interest rates going to drop. And, people are talking about these things dropping in September or whatever the case may be. And at the end of the day, Dispo is really a relationship business, right? Really understand building credibility in your markets, building the ability to understand different buying criteria and things of that nature. And so, as I'm talking with students about really, building their marketing and acquisitions team, at the end of the day, guys, it comes down to deals solve a lot of problems, right? And so you can always have the right marketing plan, right? You can always have the right acquisitions team. And we do talk about a lot of times that good deals sell themselves, and that's very true. But at the end of the day, guys, it's about having relationship on the back end on Dispo, understanding different buying criteria. That's really going to allow us to take this, property that we end up locking up under contract from our marketing plans and acquisitions teams and sell it off to the right buyer so that we end up making a profit, right? At the end of the day, it's about making a profit. Why? Because we can take this money and reallocate it back into the business, whether it's through marketing plans or making the right hires, or maybe even putting money in our pockets so that we can survive and thrive at the end of the day, to continue to build the business the way that we want and hit success the way that we define it, right? And so, a powerful tool that I want to bring up today is something called InvestorBase. Now, before I even get into InvestorBase, I think it's really important to talk through why this tool is actually useful. Whether you're a brand new investor, or whether you're working even opportunities that you get outside of your state, that's always really important, right? And so, a lot of times, you're going to be paying for marketing, and you might end up coming across a property that is simply not in your market, right? You've probably have established relationships in your local market. You know how certain people are buying in certain markets, but what happens when you get a deal that's outside of your realm, outside of your buy box, right? What do you do? Well, that's exactly what I'm here to talk about today, right? And so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to talk through a platform that we utilize, and it's called InvestorBase. Now, before I even get into this, right, let's imagine that I'm working an opportunity, and let's say I got a PPC lead or a PPL lead inside of Ohio, but my primary market is Kansas. Well, before this platform and this tool, basically I'd have to reach out to my local communities. I've had to reach out to my local markets, or I might just even bypass this opportunity because it doesn't fit inside my buy box. Well, the reality is that's no longer the case. And here's exactly what I want to do. So let's say that, I was going to work a property, right? I'm going to use, I'm actually just going to use a random address. This is actually the house that I grew up in. Um, so 5698. So let's imagine that, again, I got a lead. It's in Ohio and Galloway specifically, and I have no buyers there. I don't even know what to do here. Well, that is now gone, right? So if I'm working this property in acquisitions and I want to understand how to underwrite this thing or even what buyers are buying in the area, insert InvestorBase. And what InvestorBase is, it's a sniper approach to see who's buying in that area and see like what properties are being locked up for, what are ARVs looking like, and why do I even underwrite this deal that is in an area that I have no idea where to even buy it. So basically, again, I got the property here. I have a certain radius that I can buy in a time period in which someone has bought in. So, like I mentioned before, it is an interesting time where like ARVs are changing all the time. So what's really cool is in InvestorBase, I can take this opportunity and I can underwrite it and look at it from a search period of 3 months. I can also change the time parameter that I want to look at. Any buyer type, if I want to have flippers or landlords, I can search that. I'm going to put any for now. And right now, let's just imagine that I want to search for single family home buyers in the area, and I want to skip trace this. The reason I want to skip trace this is that it's going to give me the ability to actually get results of people who have bought in the properties, whether through LLCs or different type of people that have bought in. And I'm going to go ahead and run this search. Okay. So again, I've worked this property. I'm working this lead. The seller wants to sell. They want to move outside the market, right? Well, up until before, I wouldn't have the ability to even understand what these buyers are. So I'd have to take a list. I'd have to call a cash buyers list. I'd have to go through a bunch of people just to figure out even if somebody would be interested. Well, right away, I have within a mile radius someone that purchased the property named Michael Geffert, right? That is right here. This is what he paid for the property, which is 71% of ARV, and I can add him to my buyers list. He is a flipper. So I want to get in touch with Michael. I want to get in touch with Melissa. I want to get in touch with this ARM asset company who's a landlord, TGD Property Group LLC, all this good stuff, right? They have all bought in properties within 3 months in this certain area within 1 mile. Okay. Now, again, I made this search very targeted. That's why you're not seeing a whole lot of people because within the last 3 months, this is what's happened. If I wanted to expand my buyer search, I would obviously do it against 6 months. But again, with everything kind of happening right now, I think it's important to, put it down to 3 months. But again, I made it at 6. So what I would do is I would call these people and I would have conversations with them to just understand, like, hey, it looks like you bought in the property. You looks like you bought in property within the area. I'm actually a local home buying. I've bought in properties here. I do like 20 to 30 deals within the year, and I have an opportunity here. And I'd just be curious if you're still looking into properties and if what your criteria actually looks like. So again, from an underwriting perspective on the front end, this is going to give me a lot of leverage to see, like, are buyers even buying in this area? If they are buying, what are they buying at? Well, good. InvestorBase tells me exactly what they look like when they bought it and how they sold the property. So they bought the property for 192,000 here on Cherry Bud Drive in March of this year. They bought it at 60%, 62% of ARV. And again, this matches the ARV because they sold it for 310 in July. So they recently just bought the property. So I would like to have a conversation with this buyer, right? So again, if you are an investor that is just trying to get your wheels churning, or you're trying to purchase a property that's outside of your local market, this is a very targeted tool that is a sniper approach rather than a shotgun approach in the industry, maybe with InvestorLift, which is, again, is still a great platform to do Dispo with. But again, if you guys are having questions about a property that's outside your market, or just trying to get traction in your local market, this is a phenomenal tool to know and then have conversations with people to, again, get very targeted. So again, hopefully this guys is very helpful. And I hope you guys are able to get more deals, and I hope this video is helpful for you. Take care, you guys, and see you soon.